factory second
God, it's
blurry.
making me sick.
Yeah, the logo's all blurry.
You really got to focus on it, though, to notice.
What does your shirt say? Why is it making me vomit?
Oh.
yeah. So no, they they were flawed. So the wonderful people at Vistaprint gave me
how many?
Gave them to
That's
me free.
cool.
Well, not a lot, maybe 15,
20.
shirts.
Yeah.
I've got I need to find a printer. You know what? We're live. I should find it. I should put a play out there for a good printer. Jack, do you know one right off the top of your head or something? Oh, okay. Free advertising for him. You know.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. You mean a printer, like print yourself? Or a printing company?
No, a printing company. I don't do silk screens.
Oh. You should set up some silk screen in the back.
I've got a sublimation printer in the back.
Yeah.
A sublimation machine, but not silk screen, because that's just... Then you're getting far into the whole...
You got to have the carousel of...
Yeah,
screens
and then the next thing you know, I'm
inks.
smelling the fumes all day, and and I
quit your day job
quit my day job, to make sure
this week anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you even know that was me at Home Depot?
Not until you flipped me off.
Yeah. I was thinking of some road rage type stuff. See how you'd react.
Well,
in the parking lot.
your truck is very...
It's very intimidating.
It is, and I don't know why, but I don't recognize that. I haven't clued into the fact that that's your truck.
You never go outside when I leave.
No, I don't.
It's the wife's truck, actually.
Is it? Yeah, yeah. Yours is broken. Right?
Yep.
Sorry to hear that, man.
It's all right. It's Ford.
It's Ford. Fix or repair daily. That was what I remember I was told when I was a kid. Hey, before we begin partner plugs, you guys, note I'm not just giving the word a sponsor mention, as we here at the Packfiller only work with cool companies that we believe in. All of our sponsors have links right at packfiller.com. So do us a solid. Type that address in first and then shop away. Gooder sunglasses, everybody. You know what I'm talking about. Great shades, even clear lenses, fun styles, fully polarized, and just $35 a pair. That is right, $35. Glasses that look good on and off the bike, and you can grab enough pair to suit your mood, terrain styles, weather, or light availability and such. All new styles are now available. They're coming out with a boatload of styles, and if you follow Gooder on social media, you're going to see it all there. But go to Packfiller first. Wahoo Fitness, people. Wahoo is the leader in computers, trainers, and affordable options for fitness monitoring. Well, the Wahoo bike is pretty spendy, but pretty fucking cool. Be a Wahoo-hooligan, grab a computer, heart rate strap, or subscribe to one of the best training platforms out there, which is System, SYSTM. Wahoo. Athletic Brewing. It is National Beer Day, by the way, and I just want to call into the attention to the fact that
you're the only one drinking.
I'm the only one drinking actual beer. Jack's drinking Athletic. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Yeah,
it's good. It's refreshing.
You can drink 12 of them tonight.
I can
still drive home. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can you drink one?
I don't know if I'm
driving
supposed
down
to say
the road?
that. No, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention that with athletics. They don't want me saying that you're supposed to open container and drive down the road and stuff like that. Even though technically we're just saying it right now.
It's unsaid.
But
we're saying not to.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you are saying
I wouldn't
not
do it.
to.
Plus, you never know when a cop's just going to go bullshit. It smells like beer. You might have poured something else into that can.
Yeah.
But they're great. I have one after every ride. I come in that door with my bike, open the fridge, and that's my recovery beverage. And I sit on that couch right there, and I always check my Strava, and I drink an Athletic. So that's their advertisement. You guys type in PBulger20, PBULGER 20, to get a special discount from Athletic Brewing. You're welcome. Untapped Energy, all natural, all delicious, all energy, the source for true fuel, using the best Vermont maple syrup for clean energy. I gotta get some of that. I'm out. And finally, Ambassador Cycling. Get fit to get fit. You know you need a proper fit to feel and go fast. Sam at Ambassador can get you on your way to enjoying hurting yourself. And he won't call you a bitch like he calls us when we're talking about training rides. No, you guys, really, it's not just about getting aero. You can generate more power if you actually fit your bike properly. Get to Ambassador today. So there we go. I did my sponsors. We're doing the whole thing.
Hey, you got music.
Music's working.
There we go.
And the levels aren't too hot. Right?
Not even close.
So, are you the childhood friend that had the shirt that said Porsche is a two-syllable word?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a fond memory of mine. That's how I think anytime anybody says Porsche, I'm like, it's because of that shirt.
I am freaked out right now.
Good.
And
that's the shit I remember.
You're going to
I can't
find
remember
out in about 45 seconds why I'm freaked out.
I'm really interested.
Holy shit. Don't panic. You haven't been subjected to a new spring-fall back 2 days time change plan implemented by the government. It is indeed Thursday, and you are indeed hearing the Packfiller live or recorded. We mixed things up a bit this week, just like the French and scheduling Perry Roubaix. Since the most recent Packfiller interview was dropped, I guess that's what the cool people say, we dropped it on Monday.
Yeah.
We thought we'd give it a few days to marinate and each of us get over what was an amazing tour of Flanders. So this is the Packfiller. I'm Pack Bulger, and let's see who's with us, shall we? Gentlemen, upon hearing your name, Jack, I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Upon hearing your name, please respond with the make and model of car you would drive if you had the money. You didn't know that question.
Yeah, right.
These are sent by listeners.
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking weird. But anyway, I haven't introduced you yet, so you don't get to go yet.
But you said
Yeah.
Jack.
I want to call it an obvious elephant in the room. Mr. Paul Main, the roller of rim brakes, the terror of tubeless, is not here this evening. He's at home sick. Yeah, I play my sad trombone. Do I have my sad trombone? I don't even know. Where's my sad trombone? There it is. It's right there. Paul's not here. It's not COVID. He did test. He tested for COVID, and it is not COVID. But in his words, he wanted to get proper rest to be ready for the ride this weekend, and for the show next week because it's pre-Perry Roubaix.
He's got to be here for it.
That's priorities, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
So there we go. There's a good man. Sorry, Paul, you're not here. I know you're probably. I don't know if you're listening to this live. He might be in bed like one of those Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus commercials where he's just. Tissues all around his body and stuff like that. That's how we're going to envision him. So there's to Paul. Number 2, he's still riding bikes from the 90s. Should anyone want to intervene and help him? Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. My bike's 2010. I've said that before.
I don't believe you.
It is.
It's old.
10-speed camping.
But anybody, let's get him to upgrade a little bit. So welcome, Mr. Jack Broadhead. How are you, man?
Great.
Tell me the make and model of the car you would drive if you had the money.
The car, Porsche GT3.
Because it's a 2-syllable word.
Yeah.
You would ride it. You would drive a GT3 and not feel douchey.
Well, I mean, I'd drive it hard enough and leave it dirty to not feel douchey. It would have like road tar on the sides and I wouldn't mind if it got dented a little bit.
So every 65-plus-year-old man in the Porsche Club of America is going to walk up to you and chew you out.
It's like a true race car.
You're just like, fuck off, man.
Can buy and you could go compete on the track.
Yeah,
it's a great car. I mean, if I had my favorite car, my favorite vehicle right now is a 4x4 Sprinter van. So that's my vehicle of choice.
Converted or cargo?
I'll convert it. It's
like
cargo.
creepy cargo,
which
is like a clown seat in the back,
Candy on the dash.
Candy on the dash.
Clown costume and a dental chair in the back.
Yeah, a jug of red vines and a jug of high chews. I've been eating a lot of high chews lately. But anyway, really? Sprinter van, cargo Sprinter van, and then I'll convert it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full
on.
Oh
everything.
Man.
Like
you
bed that goes
this
up and down.
This is what you do. This is the shit.
A shower.
Do, so that would be cool.
A shower in it.
Wow.
That's gonna be my third house.
That's a good choice.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Next, he's younger than most of Jack's cycling gear and is soon to be a major YouTube star. Mr. Jackson Bulger, how are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing well.
What's the car, man?
Yeah. So I am a Subaru man through and through.
Yuck. Yeah, man, we didn't the Porsche.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, who would?
Yeah.
Well, you did.
You got a point.
You called me an old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there is a certain color, like a foresty green, almost like the color of the walls you see behind us if you're watching us. Mm-hmm. There's that color, but I kind of like the version, like the newer versions that kind of make it a little bit more outdoorsy with like kind of like the rugged tires.
Which model?
Yeah, is this the Outback? Is this
the Outback.
The Forester?
The Outback.
This is the WRX? That's
a
fucking fast car.
Yeah.
From what I hear. Yeah.
I'm more of an Outback man.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Practicality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like an upgrade of what I currently have.
Sure.
I'm a Mitsubishi guy when it comes to rally. So you're either a Mitsubishi or you're a Subaru. That's why I went.
See, I didn't know.
I have a Lancer. and it's a right-hand drive Lancer. Like when you guys come out and actually ride with me in Hoquiam, maybe we
Really?
can take it out for a spin. Although it's kind of like taken apart right now, but.
So
Yeah,
I
we'll go for rides.
You're painting such a wonderful picture of Hoquiam. You know, I've got this house. The
shower works.
Let's just
The
say,
fucking shower
let's just say that's what the listeners have heard throughout this. That for a while the shower didn't work, and now we've got disassembled cars in the yard.
Shower was being built.
Yeah.
It was a new shower.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't that it had broken pipes.
Just so everybody knows, this is right near the place where Kurt Cobain really developed his depression.
Yeah.
Me, I am too old for YouTube, too young for the inevitable dad jokes. I'm Pat Bulger, and I'm really wanting a. You know what I want? And I already drive a Mini Cooper. I drive a 4-door Countryman. I'm not a super race car driver. I like to
want
go
the original
Mini. Well, I would love an original Mini, but I actually want the Mini Cooper SE hardtop. It's a 2-door. It's half electric. I'm kind of. 110 miles per gallon.
Wow. Oh.
And it's 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds, which is not super fast. It's not great, but it's fast enough for me driving around and wanting to have fun in the corners. So that's the car I drive.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think I would. Yeah. I don't think my wife's going to let me have it, though.
Well, you'll wear her down, right?
Yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, she came to me today.
Yeah.
It's not a bike, and she came to me today saying, we need to replace all the concrete, our sidewalk, our driveway, and you know that. Well, anyway, that has nothing to do with cycling.
Adulthood.
Yeah,
it's a fun one.
Sucks ass. Sucks. Hey, who rode this past week? How'd the ride week going? I know Jackson and I are on spring break, so I'm going to want a full detailed
300
report.
miles this week.
No. Some, but
yeah.
Jack, how was your? Let's start
I'm
with
just
you.
riding inside.
You are, but how often?
I haven't every day, but this weekend. So since was I here the last show?
You were physically.
Was I drinking? I must have
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack's dry this month. We should bring it up.
Dry April.
Good for you.
So so like every day. No, I might have replaced one day with a run. Sorry.
Okay.
But other than that, just every day, and then the weekend I didn't do anything but work. So, because that's when we work.
Yeah.
Along with the other 5 days.
How long are the rides?
I'm 35, 40 minutes max.
Yeah.
30 minutes is kind of my average.
That's all you can really.
That's all I can
Zwift?
stand.
Swift or just hop on and pedal?
Hop on.
Even
sometimes
harder.
the wife. Sometimes the wife came down once yesterday. I think it was yesterday. She'll
ride
crack
too.
the whip a little bit.
Yeah, or just tell you to go faster.
Yeah, sets her watch and says, "Okay, go."
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
For 20
and you
seconds. 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off.
Shit, that's
type of
cool.
thing.
Yeah, that's very cool. Good for Good for her. Jackson, how'd your ride week been, man?
Good. Last weekend we got out for probably one of the hardest rides I've done all year. We rode.
This was Paul's idea.
Yeah. So I live out in the area that I can see the conditions of where we were headed.
Yeah.
And I knew it was really windy. And so Paul said we're going to do the course for one of the races that's coming up, RC3.
The
Liberty School?
The Liberty School Loop. Yeah.
And it was probably like on Apple Weather, it said 10 mile an hour headwinds. Nope. At least 20.
It was I would say constant 15 to 20 with gusts 30 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we got, I'd say 10 out of the 70 to actually I got 80 miles. No, I got 70.
You got 80. You got 80.
I think 81.
81 and I got 80 or 82 or something like that. Yeah.
10 of the 80 miles we got a tailwind.
Yeah.
And that was it. And so that was probably one of the hardest rides I've done in a while. I was just depleted after that one. And then so I took Monday off after that.
Yeah.
I felt like
I do have to
like
say before you get to your next rides that the funniest thing about it is Paul was like, maybe we should take this other way. I think it's a quick shortcut to get us through. And I went, you know what? I'm feeling good. So I'm going to go the regular way. And whoever gets to let's just figure out our mileage and then hit go. And we both went two different directions to get to one destination. and mine was a mile shorter.
And I trusted
And,
Paul.
and you were shredded at
Yeah.
that point. And I was just like, I saw you and I went, oh, it's a whole mile difference. I'm really sorry, man. I felt bad for you. I did. Because I saw that you were just like, oh, fuck. I just want to get home.
I hadn't been that way in a while. It sucked. But it was.
We went hard. We
did.
went really hard.
Yeah.
Even with the wind, we hit close on a couple Strava segments.
Yeah. So we were pushing it for sure.
Yeah.
And then, so like I said, I took Monday off because I felt like hell. And then Tuesday, I just did like a inside, kind of weights workout. And then yesterday, my road bike, I got a flat tire on actually on the Sunday ride. So I had to replace the tires today. So yesterday I rode my gravel bike.
We were noticing they were getting pretty thin.
They'd been a year old. I took them off today, and you could see the some of like the fabrics starting to come through. They were getting like big up to Vittoria though for lasting a whole year.
Yeah.
So I replaced them with Continentals today. So be able to get out tomorrow or over the weekend.
Then you gravel rode yesterday.
Yeah, which was weird. I hadn't done that in a while. I called yesterday kind of like a soul ride. I might not have. I had to stop a few times to change my shoe and just do a bunch of stuff, but I wasn't worried about it. I had a bag on the front, so I was just like, my heart rate got high, but it wasn't like I was out pushing it or anything. But every once in a while, you need those type of rides to just kind of remember that you don't always need to be going so hard.
Sure.
So yeah, that's been my week.
I did that ride on Sunday. Well, I guess it's Thursday. It's so weird. I'm not including the previous week. The ride on Sunday, which was beautiful. I've realized
the other B.
Now I've realized that my endurance training is spot on right now. I'm fine, and I don't mean to sound like a braggart, but the tail end of these rides with these guys, I have one speed.
Yeah.
I can keep going at the speed that was barely holding on at the beginning of the ride. But at the end of the ride, these guys are cooked, and my one speed is slightly faster.
Are you feeling differently, or is it?
No, I wish I was feeling differently. I'm still not smart enough on that. But actually, I saw Matthew Vanderpoel's. Did you see the thing on his stem, the sticker on his stem for Flanders? Mm-mm. He had his feeding schedule on his stem.
Remember to eat.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was every 10K he had a specific thing he was going to get handed up to him. And at one point there was a smiley face, and everybody wants to know what the smiley face reward was. Maybe I don't know.
Twix bar.
Yeah, exactly, or a caffeine jolt or something, Red Bull or something like that. But no, Wow Rides for Red Bull. And I that inspired me again to start thinking more about it. I'm using a lot more liquid calories, which Jackson, you and I have become gigantic fans of. But so that I felt really good on that. And then at the end, on that ride, I realized that I really desperately needed to do speed work when I was sitting prime on Jackson's wheel for a city limits sign. Okay, I'm like, I got this. I'm right on him. And I'm in the drops. I'm in the perfect gear. Everybody knew the city limit sign was coming. And I said something smart ass like, okay, we all see it. And right when I finished that sentence, Jackson hit the gas. And he dropped me. Like
with you on his wheel.
Rode away from me. It just in sheer acceleration. And I at like 30 pedal strokes into it, I just went, fuck! and just dropped off. And that was when I realized that, oh my God, I gotta hit some speed work. It's time. So this week, Tuesday, I did a speed work. I have this route around 7 Mile where every hill I ride hard up the hill and then I sprint over the top of it. They're not they're not big hills. They're kind of short, kind of punchy hills. And so I did that. And then today I went out and rode my gravel bike for the first time. Honestly, the first time I've been on my gravel bike since California.
Wow.
Me too. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it felt great. It felt really good. I made a point to I got about 3,500 feet of climbing in, I think it was 35 miles. So, it was good. And every climb I did, I made a point to kind of do some hard tempo. Looked at Strava, not exactly where I would like to be, but it's May. I mean, it's not May, it's April. Shit. Yeah. So,
even better.
That was good. It was a good week. So, and this kind of brought me, Jack, and I'm not putting you on the spot or anything like that. No, because this is, I would normally.
No.
But this is kind of leading us into where I wanted to take the topic. So we're going to kind of flip things a little bit this week. And it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, things aren't looking good for your race season.
Not really looking good.
Yeah. So I'm correct in that assumption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to flip things around. I want to address the topic. So the topic's brought to you by our friends at Competitive Cyclists. Get your bike ready. The season is here for actual outdoor riding. Time to maintain, replace, even upgrade. Let Competitive Cyclists handle your gear needs. Use the link at packfiller.com. Notice how quickly I went through that sponsorship read because I want to say riding without racing. Solo riding, when there's no time to race and things like that. I know I've probably touched base on this in a lot of past shows, but this is something I think it's interesting about the mindset of the cyclist. Jack, first I just want to get your perspective and ask you, what are your thoughts about cycling in a time where you mentioned before we went on air about wanting to do some running races, some running events you're going to do Bloomsday.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's just, I'm going to do it with the wife. We're just going to run it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a difference in my head between racing and just participating. And so I'll be participating.
So where do you say, if you had to define your cycling lifestyle right now, what would you say if you had 5 words maximum to define it?
I would say maintaining to not lose interest.
Okay.
Like as in like, I'm just to, I guess, further explain that is I foresee a summer of riding.
Yeah.
Totally changed any goals, not even concerned or worried about goals. But like I have a feeling that this summer I'll get to ride a lot based on where we'll be, the time I'll have.
Sure.
Where we're going to be near Portland, I think I won't necessarily be doing the 3 or 4 jobs I do a day, whether it's home inspection, electric, or flipping. I'll be flipping and living at the flip. So I can literally get up and I could go for a ride, go for, work out, and then spend 15 hours working on the house, go to sleep at that house.
You could fall down in the room you're working at and still be sleeping at home, technically.
Technically. Yeah. Right onto the air mattress. So that
your wife just puts it nearby where you are in the room.
So we just, But I mean, so I've that's my hope. But these half-hour sessions on, the trainer is hopefully adjusting myself to being able to increase it more quickly than going cold turkey. Oh, I'm back to riding. So goals wise, I have no idea yet.
So in that mindset, and I'm opening this up a little wider, and Paul's not here, so I mean I might respond to a question for once. What happens if there are no races that you can go to? What happens to your mindset? What happens to your cycling lifestyle?
It's funny because this is kind of how my really intense passion about cycling has kind of come without racing.
It's come without racing.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I've really kind of got into it my sophomore year of college mainly, and then it kind of just I didn't really race at all, besides our Wednesday night races or anything around here, but I haven't really raced that much, and so I'm really interested to see what a year with racing is, because I
didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, we've gone through a year where it's we haven't been allowed to race. Yeah. So I mean, right now it's just at least my feeling is a want for competition that just can't be it's like an itch that can't be scratched, and that's what it's felt like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you still be active and passionate about a sport but not be competitive in a sport? I mean, I always define the cycling versus racing versus riding. Jack, you mentioned a summer of riding versus a summer of racing. Yeah. And I want to kind of, what are the bare minimums to kind of fill that mental satisfaction to keep you going? Jack, you mentioned keep going enough. What were your 5 words again? I mean, and we might not even
To maintain.
Yeah, to maintain, but without wanting to quit.
Well, right. It's like, I was talking to my wife about this. It's like, I don't know, a couple months ago, I was riding, got some outside riding in, and then I got busy and I stopped for 2 weeks. I'm like, well, starting over. In my brain, it's like, anything I had, I'm, starting over. So right now, I'm trying not to get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm starting over. Like, just even if it's a little bit, even if it's 5 days a week, a half hour a day, that when I do have an opportunity to do a 2-hour ride on the road or more, then I can handle it, basically. So that's really my baby steps goal. So,
Jackson, you mentioned the gravel ride, about going out, and it was kind of funny how you said I wasn't going. I'm going to paraphrase, but it was like you were talking about I wasn't in a huge rush. I had a handlebar bag, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
But do you talk to me about the difference between riding for the simple enjoyment of riding your bike versus riding for I gotta get faster. I gotta do 3 by 8 minute efforts at 40%, at 75% of my maximum, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. Well, it's been really interesting because recently I've been having more of a tough time kind of like separating, like a serious, like taking this so seriously and just like having fun with it, which is what I tend to do when I find that I like have like a knack for something. I like take it to a point where it's like I always have to be on about it. And so recently I've been thinking about it to where it's like I've just been going on rides to get faster, to race better, and it like kind of causes some anxiety. After a while you just start to think, am I fast enough? I don't think I'm fast enough. At the end of our ride, I was starting to feel it. Am I going to be good enough come first race day? And so like with all that coming into your head, it's like after a while you just got to take a step back. At least for me, I had to take a step back and just like go out for the ride yesterday and know that I didn't have to be hitting power numbers or heart rate numbers or a Strava segment at all. I just had to go out and like have fun with it, because it's been tough. And I think that's something that I need to remember, is that I'm not doing this for a job. I'm not getting paid for it. I do want to do well in it like I did in soccer, but I don't need to take it to a point where I just like don't like it anymore, because that's what happened with soccer.
Well, I mean, it was funny on the Cycling Legends show that I do with help John Galloway out with. It's his show. I'm not claiming ownership of it, but on that one we talk about the fact that cycling is allowing for competitive elements to be included so much more, especially with the creation of Strava. Every single segment. I mean, I would guarantee my fucking driveway is a Strava segment that somebody probably created. Everything is becoming that, and which is a wonderful thing for the sport. But it's also a tough thing for the sport and I'm not saying we're all fragile-minded people. But I find myself going, okay, I'm going to ride a climb of mine, which is one of my favorite climbs in Spokane, the Jameson Hill. Every time I go on it, in the back of my head, I'm going, gee, I wonder if this is like even in the top 5 of my best climbs. I mean, maybe I should just go a little harder. And I am in a complete renewal state. Over the past 2 years, I spent a lot of time when I was a lot younger going really fast, and then I let it go. And the last 2 years, I've really found kind of a renaissance. Something I've cared about things. I'm getting to the point where I'm paying a lot more attention to my fitness, to my weight, to my power to weight, to all this kind of stuff. And I'm wondering if I'm, and you guys could help me with this, if I'm reaching a point, if there is a point for the average cyclist of, dude, chill out. I mean, if my wife were sitting here in Paul's seat right now, she would say, yeah, you've reached a point of, dude, chill the fuck out. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. but it's, yesterday I call it dinking around. My wife and I just kind of went shopping and going to different places. In the back of my head, I was thinking about the fact that I didn't ride today. I'm, and I had a huge breakfast, fucking amazing breakfast, great breakfast place in Spokane. And it was delicious. And afterwards I went, well, I probably shouldn't eat lunch. In my head, I'm thinking this. I'm not saying this out loud to my wife.
You could go for a ride. I mean,
yeah, but you
couldn't.
I was doing stuff with my wife,
and
I didn't do it, and so there's that little cloud right back there, just going, dude.
Yeah,
go purge yourself in the bathroom.
Yeah, I this is my topic, is talking about that balance and trying to find that balance. Jackson, you said it. We're not getting paid to do this. What keeps it? How do you find that time and that level when you guys come home and you look at your Strava after a ride? What are your thoughts when you're looking at Strava?
I'm not on Strava.
You're not on Strava. No. Good for you, man. So Jackson, is it A, wow, that was fun? B, oh, I'm getting faster. C, I got to get one up on those motherfuckers. Or D, KOM, 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 KOM.
Yeah, I don't really care about the segments at all. I mainly care about it for my own progress a little bit. Ever since you've got me a power meter, I've been paying attention to that stuff a lot more, seeing if I'm hitting numbers that I haven't before. And I just think that's fun to see. I also check like heart rate a lot of the times. But other than that, I mean, if we get like some sort of top 10 on a segment or anything, then that's awesome. But other than that, it's just it's more for myself rather than it is other people. But I do find sometimes that I have this little anxious tick where I'll go on to Strava to see if like other people in like our group have ridden or stuff like that. Sure. And that is something that I need to cut myself off from. Yeah. And so Strava, like social media, which I believe that it in some ways kind of is, can be both a good and a bad tool all wrapped into one.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but endurance sports are addictive.
Yeah.
That's part of the more you do it, the more you think about it, want to do it, worry about not doing it. It's once you get to a certain level of fitness, you don't want to lose the fitness. You want more fitness. You want, you got a next person that you want to stay with or beat or whatever. So it's, unless you're riding by yourself, touring across the state of Washington, you don't.
Nobody
care.
Particularly,
who would do that? Who would even think of that? Yeah. But it's so then you start comparing yourself to what you should be, what you think you should be. It's very addictive.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because we talk about other people in the sport that we've known that have very like addictive personalities and have kind of chosen. Like athletics to apply that addictive personality. But it's funny because I mention a lot how like I have an obsessive personality quite a bit of the time, but is it me saying that I have an obsessive personality, or like it is kind of that addictive in a way when it comes to this type of thing that like you said, when you do get to a specific point of fitness, it's like an addiction. You want to be able to keep it. You want to be able to. I mean, I feel like
there's a high.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I want to stay with the front group. I want to be that guy all the time, and it is kind of an addictive feeling.
I have days where I won't step on the scale because I know that I probably will be a pound or two heavier. Yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that? Am I fucked up?
No.
I
don't think so. I mean, like
people listening at home. Am I fucked up? Because I want to keep going. I want to get this progress. Last year was the first year I've been within my weight goal in a long time, and now this year I want to do better than that. There's going to come a time where my lifespan is going to catch up with me, and I'm not going to be able to continually get faster. I'm not getting faster. I was faster in my 20s, but where I'm not going to be able to reach necessarily my fitness goal from beat last year. But I think I'm having a problem with it. A good friend of ours, as well as the podcast, Mr. Justin Short, it reminded me when I was out on my gravel ride today. I got to the top of this little rise out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and that was the picture I posted on Instagram today about riding solo, about riding alone. And Justin's been on the show before. I'm trying to find a word to describe this guy. He's a beautiful lunatic, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Yeah. Justin's a great guy. He's the kind of guy who will go out. He'll do double-digit hours. I mean, he'll plan a 180-mile ride, and he'll do it in a day. He'll leave the house at 6 a.m. and he'll come home at 11 o'clock at night or something like that. Just absolutely lunacy. He's not going. I mean, he's super robo-fit. I hope I'm not insulting Justin by saying the fact that he's not going turbo fast. He's stopping. He's taking pictures. He's going to gas stations. He's eating fucking burritos. You know, the guy is super, super lean and fit and fast. And on my ride today, I guess my point was coming back to that. On my ride today, I stopped. Just at one point, I was like going, I want to eat my scratch chews. I'm out here by myself. Might as well stop up here. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to just relax. And the irony of the fact that I stopped at this point and I looked on this power pole beside me, and there was one of Justin's stickers from his group, the Gravel Brain Trust, on the post. And I just went, holy shit. and that was where I thought about this topic, about riding for points, for KOMs, for beating another person versus I'm going to take a couple seconds, I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to throw a fucking sticker on a post. Could you guys, what do you see? I know, Jackson, you probably couldn't do that type of a ride. I know you're not. We talked this weekend about your fact it's like, I can't do double digits again.
Yeah, I don't know if I have.
When we say double digits, I mean in hours, not in terms of miles.
No, yeah. I don't know if I have the physicality at the moment to be able to young. And I don't have enough on me, to be able to ride double digits.
Not like your dad. He's got sorry, Mr. Fragile.
Pick on a guy while he's going to get a beer.
He that's why he won't bonk, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I bonk. I bonk. You do. Yeah. I still bonk. But no, that's my physique lends to my endurance. Yeah.
And it's something that I can't really.
Tall physique.
It's something that I can't really do anymore, especially at the end of BWR when I was just
toast.
Yeah.
But remember that but you were supposed to be toast.
Yeah.
At the end. of BWR.
I've never experienced what I did though. At that point, I've never thrown up like multiple times after rides.
Yep.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Kind of cool, and I don't mean that in a disgusting way. It was pretty impressive that you rode yourself into that zone.
Yeah, cool is a funny word.
Interesting. I have a couple road races in the 125s or 30s or something like that in my past life, but I've got like 3 50-mile runs in my legs. 3 50-mile like trail races. And that's 9 hours. That's 8 or 9 hours. Shit. So 8.5 to 9 hours.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, at the end of that, kind of like, you finish and you're like, I don't ever want to do that again. What the fuck was I thinking?
Really?
Yeah, but then you go do another one.
You do.
I mean, it wears off. Your memory is super short for the pain that you go through. Yeah. I mean, you're still feeling it. It's less than a year later, but
I found it at Leadville.
Yeah.
I signed up for Leadville almost on it, just like, there's no fucking way I'm going to get in. I got in. And I just found another gear.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I'm not going to go full Lael Wilcox where I'm going to be riding all over the, super mega endurance.
Ride to the next race.
Yeah. Like she has. Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna ride across 3 states to start an endurance race. Yeah,
right.
But I don't think I'm gonna do that. But but is that racing in the mentality for the standard classic dyed in the wool cyclist? If races weren't available, Jackson, and especially Jack with you, talking about not having a way to kind of judge yourself, are super hard rides with your friends enough? Yes, no, why or why not?
Well, I mean, recently, like I was mentioning before, they've had to be.
Yeah.
For me, at least, because I haven't raced in. Well, I guess I did race last summer, but like realistically, over the past 2 years, I hadn't raced in forever, so they had to be. So
I think there's all kinds of different cyclists that I mean, and you think like gravel's turning into a well, it has been, but I mean a very competitive UCI sanctioned event.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at cycling these days versus when we were young, you now have, it used to be tracker road and cross, maybe if you're really
Little
weird,
cross.
if you're a little weird weirdo. So
yeah.
but now that is amazing, become really almost an equal in to some extent. But now you got like Zwift, a whole world of Zwift cyclists that never hit the road. Yeah. That are cyclists, and you have Strava geeks that are completely obsessed with Strava. So, and that's their racing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to ride crits, or you don't have to ride road sanctioned USA road races that
Sure.
To be a competitive cyclist. It's whatever your competition group is. And sometimes it overlaps all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, Bloomsday, when the Kenyans come to town, they do Strava segments. They have on the Centennial Trail, there are segments that are owned by Kenyans.
Really?
Oh yeah.
God, that's good.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty
cool. And
that's
guys,
really cool.
Fast guys around here know that, and that's that they come to town. Oh fuck, it's dropped 2 seconds. That type of thing. So
I will say it's really interesting hearing like a community that is very similar to us, but so different at the same time. Like it's very interesting to hear the insight into like the running community, because I never would have known any of this stuff.
Yeah. It's I mean, with Bloomsday and you announce at a bunch of running races. I mean, the running culture here on so many different levels, from I'm going to do my first 5K to I got in 50 marathons before I turned 50 type of group, or the guys. We have some almost world class ultra runners here.
Yeah.
So it's
people who I'm just going to provide a little exposition. The people who don't know what's going on when we're talking about Bloomsday is the world's largest timed running event in the world
by amount of people that do it.
Yeah. I mean, Beta Breakers is larger. They've always said Beta Breakers was larger, but Bloomsday was timed, so that made it the largest timed running event.
But 42,000 people.
Huge running culture here.
Yeah.
And then we do have, because it's a major competitive event, we have a lot of people, these elite runners coming to our town. And what a cool way to actually judge yourself that you might never beat that Strava KOM.
Right.
For example, I sit now and I look at my Strava, and I'm looking at if I PR'd my own, and that's what I'm striving for. Did I beat myself from a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 10 years ago? And then I kind of look at it and I go, okay. And that's what I love about Strava, is that I can look through it and go, okay, what other guys my size? I don't want to say fat fucks, because I'm not. I'm trying to be positive.
Is it Clydesdales?
Fuck you. Yes, technically it is. I mean, my weight scale is it's Clydesdales. Yeah. So but you can look at that kind of stuff, and to be able to look at a running segment and go, I'm competing against a world class runner on this segment. That's pretty cool.
I think that's where gravel has really risen in. For some people, is they get to start with the elites.
Yeah.
Or if it's waves, it's waves. But
no, well, that's how
BWR. We were within arm's reach
shoulder,
of people who were ex pros. Yeah.
Ted King was probably 30 feet away from me.
And that
cool.
that is one thing with like ultra running, trail racing, that is so fun is that it's literally going for first place.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a Brooks sponsored runner or you're just got fit and want to go try a race.
There's that dream in the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, I'm lining up against the best.
And gravel has really given that to a lot of people, and Strava and Zwift, because you can race in races with whomever shows up.
So let's take that to the next
MVP.
level. And I want to take that to the next. Riding alone. Could you continue cycling if there was nobody to ride with?
Yeah. I mean, try living 4 years away from your riding group. That's kind of all it is, I like I said, I had to do it for a while. And you just kind of find motivation yourself to get faster, do something. I don't know what it is. But I had to do it for a while, and it's hard sometimes, especially on the longer days when you're like, I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody to understand the feeling that I'm feeling. But you also get to ride however you want to, which can kind of sometimes be good, sometimes be bad. But yeah.
I think you need rides by yourself, but the group, there's a term that I read in a book, and when you get a group together, it's motivating. You have accountability. Oh, you're not showing up. Oh man, and then you feel bad because they're one step ahead of you, so that puts a mild pressure on you to show up every day. And so, if you can ride 2, 3, 4 days a week with a group or another person, that accountability, and one day by yourself, 2 days by yourself, then you're probably gonna be on the path to riding at the best level you can. Just because that accountability makes you feel like it's gym stuff. You show up, you got your training partner. That kind of thing motivates you, and even when you don't feel like riding, then there's that, okay, I'll go. And that turned out to be great. I
remember my days in college on the rowing team, that if I didn't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get on a bus to go to the river to launch the boat at 6 o'clock, if I didn't make it at 6:15, there were going to be 8 other people pounding on my door saying, because of you, we didn't get to fucking row today.
Wow.
Because it's it's a varsity boat, junior varsity boat, whatever it might be. If you're not there, those people can't row today. And I remember that well.
That's big time. That's not you don't get to go ride. I mean, they could still go ride without you. But, wow.
But that was kind of the extent of something. And then being able to, and this show's helped me a lot because I'm looking across the table at people, and I'm watching bike races, and I'm thinking about it a lot more. That it has got me much more motivated, and the guilt factor is, I mean, I just call it Catholic guilt. I mean, it's the classic Catholic guilt. It's the, oh my
even
God,
the little bit of so how was your riding week? That alone is like, okay.
Well, that's why I'm doing it.
I gotta show off a little.
Yeah.
He's got he's got to ride the day before the show.
I wish I had money. Oh, there it is. Oh, I don't have that. So, guys, how was the ride week?
Yeah.
No, it's we're not judging here.
Yeah.
But are your feet a little warm because you haven't been riding?
You're that much closer to hell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Not saying anything.
No.
But if you don't ride, it's just saying. Yeah, exactly. How much would your cycling life change if suddenly you found yourself, a remote place, you're never going to ride with anybody for an extended amount of time? How would your life change? How would your cycling life change?
I mean, like I said, I kind of had to do it for a little bit.
You did.
Yeah.
And
it can be tough, especially like in a community where I was, where Portland is, it is like a cycling mecca of the country. But at the same time, it's finding a group to ride with is like finding a needle in a haystack. It can be difficult, and it's competitive and elite, and it's tough sometimes. So you really just have to rely on yourself and your self motivation sometimes, which can be, as we've just been discussing, hard because you don't have that accountability anymore.
Was it hard to reach out? Now, was it hard to reach out for you, or was it hard to reach out in general in Portland to find a club?
Yeah, it's such a big city that it's almost like, where do you begin?
Sure.
You know, because there's so many people there that it's like you can't just stumble across somebody on a road, like on a random sidewalk, and just be like
talking to them.
Yeah, just be like, hey.
I would.
You would. No, you would. That's your gift, man. You're just. I mean, we talked last week about if a group passed you, would you ride with them? You would ride in with them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and you'd know their birthdays by the time you got done with the ride.
How many kids they have?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, and I can't do that. I'm poor at that, and I pass that on to you, and I apologize.
No, it's not that I don't want to talk to people. It's more just that, like, especially like in a ride setting, if I'm solo, I usually have a plan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I like to stick to. But like, for instance, when some people, like local other riders were with us the other day, it wasn't like I was like, oh, like, go the hell away. I was like, oh, like, cool. We have more of the community to join with us, and then they'll split off.
Yeah. And then we can talk about them when they're gone.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, that's me. That's me. Sorry. I'm not a social dude. I pretend to be, but I'm not. I'm not a social guy.
When I saw you at Home Depot, I was talking to Paul.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We
were discussing that text he sent me. Did you got that text?
There was a gigantic one that somebody
sent. Did you read through that?
What the fuck was it? Anyway, I don't think the listeners are going to understand what we're talking about, but
we'll post it.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was super weird.
It was okay.
Yeah.
So the social dynamic, we're all going to agree, is a gigantic important part of this, but so is the beauty of solitude. I rode with my Aftershocks headphones in today, which I love because I can hear what's going on around me. I can hear when a car's coming. This is not an ad for them. Mm-hmm. But I got to listen to music today, and I caught myself just in the middle of nowhere, almost dancing, and I was just going,
You're listening to Phil Collins.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. A Genesis song came up here and there, but it was, there's also a lot of other stuff, Jack. I've always loved Genesis. You got a problem with Phil?
I don't. The one song is so good.
Don't hate Phil. One song. I'm not talking studio years, but I'm talking, Genesis.
Yeah.
And, it's cool. Anyway, okay.
I guess I'm more of a Peter Gabriel.
Are you?
Yeah. So, you got some?
No. I was gonna switch to the
About
news.
to drop the beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna drop a beat.
Yeah.
Where's my news? There it is. So there was our topic. Now we're gonna switch to the news. How weird is that?
Interesting.
Yeah, right. And I still have the computer on mute because it's making a buzz in the background.
I might have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, great.
And
that was the news. And don't hang your headphones on the actual mic that's hot because it goes. Fuck. The Tour of Flanders happened, and boy, did it happen. Mathieu van der Poel taking a perfectly timed sprint to hold off a hard-charging duo of Dylan van Baarle, and Valentin Madouas. And Tadej Pogacar. As it's been a few days, and we don't need to necessarily go into the details, I would love some reflections. And being that Jack and his tiny little bladder left us, classy. I mean, it's better than Karsten cooking, right? Yeah. Jack, what kind of Jackson? You're the one I named. What takeaways do you have from the event that was the Tour of Flanders?
Yeah, there's a couple there. I think first of all, no matter how much you can put down on Mathieu van der Poel, he will push it all back off. It's it's crazy to see how this man can go from falling off a pretty high rock to winning the Tour of Flanders, and Dwars door Vlaanderen as well. He had a crazy week, and to see that he can just pop back into it like nothing ever happened is insane to me.
And I do believe that there was a statistic stating, and I think Paul might have mentioned it, was how many people have won Dwars and the Ronde, and it was very few.
Yeah.
What an unbelievable. Now, the reflections upon that sprint, upon the timing of that sprint, there were statistics saying that when they started that sprint, Mathieu van der Poel was going 20.9 miles an hour, and the people who caught them were going 29 miles an hour.
Wow.
Whoa.
At the point of the acceleration of that sprint.
Oh my
So
God.
what,
I
we're
just don't know
saying,
how they didn't blow right through.
yeah.
him.
So
I
what
mean,
we're saying is he had to, after that many K in his legs, hit that type of an acceleration and still
That's crazy.
pull away.
accelerate with them and then pull away from
Yeah.
them. This is what heroes are made out of.
Yeah. He's an unreal talent. And another thing that when we were talking about reflections on the race, another insight that I had was you can't play cat and mouse for too long, because we saw the results of what happens when you do. And it's funny because you could see Tadej looking behind him so many times, and the fact that he was the one that kind of got gypped on
Left
it,
out,
yeah.
was really interesting, because it seemed like Mathieu was very, very focused on what Pogačar was going to do and nothing else. And apparently he knew that he had the power in the legs to blow by people that were going 9 miles, almost 10 miles an hour faster than he was.
Yeah, I knew it was a big difference in speed, and that, my first thought was like, how did they not slingshot right through that?
Oh, yeah.
Group of two. But you watch Van der Poel looking back at Pogačar, it isn't even a factor. You see him look back, and you see that other group coming up on the right. He moves it over and completely to the right.
Yeah.
So they ran up to him. Of course, you want to come off the draft, but that really took a lot of possibilities for them, which side they could go on.
Dylan Van Baarle should have gone to the far other side, attack
yes,
wide.
Yes, and they should have crossed, if anything. If Mathieu saw them coming and kind of basically closed the door on them, essentially. So that was the smartest thing he did, other than accelerate to 1,400 watts and beat the shit out of him.
Just after all that.
Yeah.
Really do something
It's like he
that.
just
and to think that Tadej Pogačar had anything less than a perfect ride, but he still got pushed off the podium.
Yeah.
I think he does deserve quite a bit of credit for the fact that, I think both of them do, like seeing his attacks on the Paterberg and how he could just blow everything up, but and he almost gapped Van der Poel as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that Van der Poel could actually come back to him shows another compliment to Van der Poel, that he
was on.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as he can be, as he would be. Pogačar's really strong. I mean, that was an obvious show of the whole race. He dominated
That pass on when they first caught the break, when Tadej Pogačar just did that first initial attack on one of the climbs. Which climb was it? Paul, I wish Paul was here. I keep thinking. Anyway, but it was one of the early climbs, and they had just caught the break, and he was riding like when you catch that group in a fondo. It's just a bunch of people just kind of casually having fun. Just boom. Hauling ass by some of the best riders in the world. Absolutely. Just what a great race. Oh my God, the spring has been just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
We discussed this last week on the ride, I think, where Jackson was saying that his favorite spring classic is Strade Bianca. Paul's is Flanders. Mine is Roubaix. Jack, do you have one that you kind of lean toward?
I'd lean towards Roubaix too, just because I think that of my young years, it was always on every year. You could actually watch the race. Flanders, you had to go to Eurosport or something like that to try to.
Oh, you could never find it.
Yeah. So read about it and winning. So I think just I mean, I know those other races are very special, but there's nothing that compares to Roubaix. If you're looking at the most miserable classic there could be, and it's never predictable with weather, so it could be one type of race or another type of race. Where a lot of the Flanderian classics, or Flanders and Flèche Wallonne really isn't. It's not.
Ghent, Wevelgem, even Scale de Pris, which just happened this week.
So you might get poor weather, but you're not going to get 2 inches of mud on a World War I granite pathway.
Yeah.
That's true.
I spoke with Marty Jamieson this week, and he was saying that the Flandrian cobbles are more predictable than
more brick-like,
the French
probably.
cobbles. Yeah. And it was really interesting talk. That was last week's show. No, this week's show. Jackson, why Strada Bianca? Why is that one the one that just really resonates with you?
Well, I have a real memory of that's the first one that I really got into watching racing.
Sure.
Just because it is placed kind of earlier in the year, and even I remember in 2020 where that's where my watching really kind of clicked in. That was the first one that came back, and that was I was so excited. I remember where I was, how it happened, all that type of stuff. But I also really like the course. I like that it is one of those courses where kind of like Roubaix, where anything can happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, Alaphilippe is blown off his bike, stuff like that. We see a Grand Tour winner win, stuff like that never happens. And I think it's really interesting, and I love that finish.
And then it's not classified as a classic. I think it's a crime.
Or a monument.
Paul's not here.
Yeah.
A monument.
Yeah.
Monument. Paul's not here, so I can say
can
that.
say it,
And he's gonna live tweet us like Jack, you usually do when you listen to the show.
2 days
we just
later.
get these random texts. But I agree. I think it should be classified as one because it has that epic element. And I think what a monument should be is truly epic in its nature. And I think that race has the epic nature of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful fucking race. Scale de Pris happened this week with a "Don't Write Me Off Yet." Mr. Alexander Kristoff taking a solo victory on a parcours that was actually favored for pure sprinters, but the wind was just absolutely brutal. You guys both caught you nodding. You okay?
I started watching.
Happened on Wednesday.
Started
right?
on the highlights, and then I got off my bike. So
sure,
I was watching it in the morning.
Yeah, Jackson, you caught highlights.
Yeah. For a man that many people have written off.
Yeah.
Quite the emphatic win. I've only really seen Kristoff win anything in a sprint. I've never seen him win it in a solo breakaway like that. But that for first of all for his team, Intermarché, that was big. Yeah. They've had a pretty good spring.
Yeah.
Especially for one of the lower level World Tour teams.
So let's this is perfect that you mention this. But you guys are reading my notes before I create a show. Let's talk about the Quick Step Alpha Vinyl season up to this point. Okay, I got some stats here, courtesy of our friends at Pro Cycling Stats.
There you go.
Fucking best website. If you guys aren't following it, you don't care. So their latest victories, the Tour of the Basque Country, Julien Alaphilippe won stage 2. No, yeah, stage 2. Yeah. Catalunya, let's see, Bagioli. Sorry, I'm saying names incorrectly, but won that stage. Copia Bertali. Catalunya, they got other things like that. So there's, there have been those. There have been, I'm looking at Kern, Brussels, Kern, Fabio Jakobsen, Milano, Torino, Mark Cavendish, Tour of Oman, Masnada, got second there. In most cases, would be great for another team.
Yeah.
But what we're staring down the barrel of is they currently sit third in the team rankings, which is not what Patrick Lefevre wants to look at on his morning newspaper when he's having breakfast. And I just imagine him having that perfectly poached egg, just kind of half hard boiled egg where
in the holder.
He cracks it, or somebody comes along and cracks it for him. Is this team being overanalyzed, or is something wrong? Are we looking at a team that has set itself up for such a gigantic expectation? They're not going to win Grand Tours. They have not set themselves up to win Grand Tours. Remco Evenepoel is not ready to win a Grand Tour, in my personal opinion. But the Classics being such a major objective, should they be hanging their head low? What is going wrong? Do we have any speculation? I mean, that's what we do. We speculate. We're not fact chasers here. So,
well, it's been really interesting because their main, I think, leader for a lot of these classics, like Flanders, for instance, Alaphilippe wasn't there.
Yeah, he's COVID.
Yeah. Or bronchitis, or did he have
bronchitis?
Yeah.
It was bronchitis. Sorry. So whoops. Yeah.
But
I don't want to spread that rule.
But he wasn't able to be there, and so their main contenders haven't been able to be there for outside reasons. I mean, Remco wasn't going to win it, and Asgreen, I think, was an incredible win last year, but I don't see him being like a repeat
Constant,
winner.
Yeah.
Just because I see him more as like a long range time trialist almost. And so in my opinion, I just don't think they've brought the right people to the right races. I think Fabio Jakobsen, what did he win again? Did he win?
He won. Let me look at my notes again.
Not Lalonde.
Oh, I dropped my notes.
The H-back.
It was one of the.
He won Kern to Brussels Curl.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, and I will say he got very, very lucky. If Taco Vanderhoorn and I forget who else was in that break, if they hadn't maybe stepped it up a little bit, he wouldn't have won that.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of shaping up to seem like they're all entering a lot of these races, but they aren't bringing the perfect team. Like, imagine if, like, Alaphilippe was there at Flanders, he would have had something to say at the finale of that race. He would have probably been in that 3.
Sure.
So it's just, I think they've had bad luck, and a part of me wonders if the pressure's starting to get to him, especially when everybody's looking at someone like Asgreen, who might not be that type of rider yet.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I wanted to go with it. When we look at Intermarché Wanty Gobert, victory against Vevelgem with Binyam Girmay, and I'm going to learn his name. Scheldeprijs with Christophe. Overall win at the Tour of Oman this year. These results can almost justify a team like Intermarché going, fuck, we're good, man. Yeah. We're solid. We got it. Everybody's already signed on for next year. Now, mind you, Girmay is already being taunted by Ineos. God, I hope they know.
I really hope he doesn't.
Yeah. But do you blame him?
Chase the money.
Yeah.
I would do it too.
Yeah. But what to think about the perspective where we're seeing a guy like Alexander Kristoff is being that the pressure is maybe a little less, or the expectations a little less.
Oh, yeah.
How does that affect the?
I think that makes a big difference. I think you're not looked at. You go up the road and they're not as motivated to chase you. If Alaphilippe goes up the road, you're gonna, there's a plan. Then everybody.
I don't think these guys are going to look at Alexander Kristoff going up the road and go, let the old man die.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that. I think he rode a race that was fucking unbelievable. But I think because they're going into this without
less
that mental
pressure.
stress,
Yes, for sure.
that it's making them a better performing team. And
it's really cool to see as well this like kind of smaller budgeted team come out with these like pretty like these stars at this point. Like Binyam Girmay has now like written his name in the history books forever.
Binyam Girmay, thank you. You need to help me with these things. Help me with these names.
I'm always here.
It took me months to get Tadej Pogacar, so
that's
I might be still saying
pretty good at that.
Binyam Girmay, Binyam Girmay.
All right. If you say it a specific amount of times,
that's why I did it. Yeah.
Well, maybe their team psychologist is just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, because that may be a difference.
Yeah, but and now we have a name like Taco Vanderhorn.
Yeah.
Nobody would like. Where would you have unknown that name?
Fucking love watching that guy race.
Because he can stick in a breakaway and then like stick with it at the finale.
Yeah.
Like these like at first no name riders, and this is not meant to be offensive towards them at all, but have now become a big named rider because of they go in a breakaway or they get lucky and they win, like stuff like that.
And they're ghosts in the machine. They're just there to fuck things up. And I love it because it's not just fucking things up, but it's working.
Yeah.
And it's working against this old school. And when I say old school, I'm talking about the times of Postal and Sky, where these teams would just go into a race and just get out of the way. We own this. Yep. And Quick Step Alpha Vinyl.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody loves watching the underdog.
Sure.
And this is so much fun to watch the underdogs pull it off. Or, for guys as old as me, watch old guys kick ass, and this is just, I say this all the time. We're in a magical time.
Yeah.
Wonderful time to be a bike race fan.
Yeah.
So the Amstel Gold is coming up. It ain't no Paris-Roubaix. It ain't no Flanders, but it's a big race. Full course April 10th, which is a week earlier than the traditional calendar because it's doing the French needed time to do their elections, and I applaud the French for that. I wish this country would. We're talking about taking a day off for the fucking after the Super Bowl, but we won't take a day off to vote. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. We're not a political podcast. So one of the Ardennes classics, it was born in 1966, and this is Paul's job. He does this so much more romantically. Famous for its Steve Short Bergs, 33 on tap.
That's awesome.
Narrow country roads across the hilly Limburg region. Most years, the final climb comes on the Kauberg, but this year it's going to see the contenders battle it out with 7 kilometers to go across a climb called the Bemmelberg. So we take you guys. I love how I intentionally handed you your start list late because I wanted your attention. I mean, it's like giving kids something shiny at a birthday party. But I also wanted you to just kind of go off your impulses on riders you see, on names you see, on what you've seen and what you've experienced on the spring classics up to this point, and if you're willing to gamble a little bit. So I haven't even looked. I circled one name. I have circled one name so far. I have no clue what I'm going to pick for the other two. Okay. But we have the men and we have the women. I haven't even looked at the women's start list yet. And I'm lost with some of the women because I know of some of the big names, but I know that I love that women's racing is becoming so unpredictable right now. And it is a beautiful thing to watch. If you are a dyed-in-the-wool classic roadie cycling, old school type of thing, watch women's racings. It is getting so fucking exciting right now, and it is a beautiful time to watch bike racing. And I have obviously taken too much time because you guys have had too much time to look. So who's looked longest, and who wants to pick 3 riders? By the way, who picked whom on Flanders? Did we? I picked. Jackson and I picked
the winner. I think I had a.
I picked correctly both days.
That? You did? Wow. Both days.
Both days.
You picked MVP.
I picked Vanderpool.
I think I did too. Vanderpool.
And I think Paul said that basically you don't win Flanders if you go out and race hard and win.
Dwars. Yeah, yep. But he was wrong. Yeah. Wow. Yep. We can make fun of Paul.
Yes,
and he's going to angry text us here at about
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
I'll go for it.
Okay, thank you.
I will start with the ladies edition.
You're going with the women first. That is chivalrous, so that's good. That's good. I like that. And it gives me a chance to go, holy fuck, who am I going to pick?
Should I move ladies then to men and then leave it off for another?
Sure. Okay. I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. So I have picked Annemiek van Vleuten. It's tough to go against her ever.
Yeah.
I, again, will pick the bridesmaid and never the bride, Kasia Niewiadoma.
See, I'm not going to pick her now.
And then somebody who's been on pretty good form, except I'm not sure how the climbs will affect her, is Elisa Balsamo.
Jeez, I got 2 of yours.
Balsamo. Yeah.
Yeah, Balsamo.
Yeah.
And then on the men's side, I've been seeing a lot of good improvement out of Mr. Tom Pidcock. So that will be one of my 3 riders. It's hard to look against Mathieu van der Poel, so that will be my second. And then
Oh God, yeah, he's in this too.
yeah. And then
Which
why
remember
not?
that race? Remember the finish he won this race in?
yeah, that was crazy.
One of the most amazing sprints I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's just how he caught. Jack, you're giving me a point.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
It was a
It was like 20
catch within, catch the main riders within the last 50 meters kind of a thing.
Wow.
And just like it was an unbelievable finish.
That's where he really announced himself to the world.
Yeah, that was his first true classic. Yeah.
My final rider is the like red hot Christophe Laporte.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
choice. That's a good choice. Tom Dumoulin is on the start list.
I thought he retired.
No,
Took a big break. It feels like he retired though,
took
doesn't
a
it?
mental break,
Hey, that's cool.
and
That's
which
cool.
is I think
I took
brilliant. Yeah.
I'm still on one. You want me to go?
I do want you
'Cause
to
you need
go.
more time.
You got to pick the women first.
Okay. So I had 2 of what Jackson had Van Vleuten, Balsamo.
Who are we talking
Bellissimo.
about? Lisa Balsamo?
I have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Lisa Balsamo. Yeah.
Yep, and Lauren Stevens.
Yeah. Oh
She
God.
raced really well last Scale de Price.
We're doing a lot of mixing here, guys.
Mix it up.
I'm just saying. No, I mean in terms of our picks.
Oh, good.
We're gonna. I
Except-
don't think anybody's necessarily gonna win this time.
And then for my men's race, I have MVP Pitcock, and I have Philip Gilbert.
I'd love to see it.
That would be a great.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be honest. This is probably the last of Phil Gill,
Pry.
Yeah.
and I would love to see that.
Unfortunately.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
For the ladies, I'm going Lucinda Brand is my different rider from the 2 of you because I also picked Lauren Stevens and Annemiek van Vleuten.
There you go.
My guys, I'm going with Mathieu van der Poel because I have to. I'm going with Thomas Pidcock because I think he's pissed and I think he wants it. I think he's had tactical flaws and I think there's some things that he's
looking
getting
strong.
He's getting set and he's
Yep.
going to go, okay, I'm not going to fuck it up this time. And I think he's going to get it. And I'm also going for Victor Campenaerts as an emotional choice because I love watching this guy race. I think he's got the spunk and he's ready to do something. And I'd love to see Victor Campenaerts, even though I almost circled Philippe Gilbert because
why not?
I like, oh my God, it'd be so cool to see him do something. So there we go. So there we got the last year's women's race was won by the GOAT herself, Mariana Vos, by the way. And I don't see Mariana Vos on Jumbo Visma's start list. No, am I?
No, you don't.
Marcus Koster, Henderson, Lebecki, Bequist, and Swinkles. No, so that and we've been making some of these calls very early in the week with our show on Tuesday, and it's cursed us because we make these calls and then the complete start list changes. Yeah, because how many people pick Wout van
Or
Aert?
S-Work shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't on our start list.
Yeah.
On one of those.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah. All right, you guys, let's finish with some fun. Okay. We're going to play a good old game of Would You Rather. Would you rather and a short why. Short why. I'm looking at you, Jack. Short why. I'm going to give you some situations, some cycling, some not cycling. We're just going to have some fun, okay? Would you rather ride with your bars upside down or your saddle backwards? Jackson Bolger.
Probably my bar's upside down.
Would you?
Yeah. Just because one can lead to a lot worse than the other.
Saddle sores. Yeah.
I don't think you can ride with your saddle backwards.
You can't? Sure you can. You can sit on it.
Yeah, but the pedaling actions, it's not going to last very long.
So your bars upside down?
Bars
upside
yeah,
down?
whatever.
Yeah.
I too am bars
No
upside
handlebars.
down. Would you rather be forced to go full vegan or fast food only for a full month?
fast food only.
Fast food only.
Yeah. I mean,
Because you'd have to tell everybody you were full vegan. That's
Yeah.
the hard part. That's the hardest
Gotta
part of being a
commit to it.
vegan. It's like, hi,
yeah,
I'm
you
vegan.
You don't have to, though. You don't have to
but
brag
they
about
do.
it. Oh, you're so judgy.
Every vegan I know tells me they're vegan. Or I
That's so
wouldn't
you don't
give
poison
a
them
fuck.
with any animal.
Well, I could know if they're vegan on a bike ride. And I'm not. It's not like I'm
the certain
handing them
smell.
a
It's a certain
raw
smell,
hamburger.
aroma that
No,
they-
they tell me. How do you know somebody's vegan? They tell you. And I don't. I guess I don't mind that they're vegan, but they don't have to tell me.
Right.
Would you do fast food or vegan, Jack?
I would, oh my god! A weekend of eating out kills me. So I'd go vegan.
You'd go vegan.
Full on vegan. Yep.
Man, that's a hard one. I'd probably go fast food. I'd try to find the healthy in the fast food world.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible. Like Chipotle.
That's
Right
good
You
shit.
on.
you guys are cheating.
It's
It's still fast food.
I'm talking Wendy's and Burger King. I mean, come on.
When was the last time you went to a Burger King?
I haven't been to a Burger King in a long fucking time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah,
Chipotle,
I said
You can
fast
work
food.
around
It's
it.
fast.
Yeah,
yeah.
and it is food.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. Would you rather lose the ability to sprint or lose the ability to climb?
Which, if you
Like I got nothing.
Probably sprint.
Sprint.
Yeah, I think so.
would you rather
Would you rather lose the ability to sprint
like
or the ability to climb?
I don't want to complicate things.
Yeah.
Climb.
Climb.
Yeah. Because I don't have it in me now. So
I can't climb very well
yeah.
right now. And you know what? I honestly think my inability to climb, yes, is genetics, but it's also a lot mental. I'll go into a climb right now, and I think I have to minimize the damage. I didn't used to do that. There was a time in my cycling career where I moved to the front on a climb, and I don't know how to get that back.
Well, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but if you ride at the front, people think
No.
you belong at the front.
But I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about me.
what I'm saying is,
I'm talking about
if
how do I
you
beat my
choose-
demons of thinking that I should be at the top of this fucking climb, and the mental pain
Yeah.
I expect. I'm
Yeah.
not thinking, oh my God, I'm going to run.
I
out
guess
of juice.
what I'm talking about is
Pisses me off.
you're creating the pain
Yeah.
versus somebody else creating the pain
Yeah.
for you, and then you just get in the fetal position and cry on the side of the road because you're not keeping up. If you go to the front, then
Yeah.
that's a little over the top,
right.
but
I would rather lose the ability to climb. No, I'd rather lose the ability to sprint because I'd rather be.
You'd rather
I'd like to
climb.
be a better climber. I'd
Yeah.
like to be a better climber. Would you rather wear a skin suit made of fur or plastic wrap?
Well, I feel like we're already wearing plastic wrap, so I would wear that.
But plastic wrap you can't sweat through.
Yeah, well,
Did
that's
you?
true.
What event are we riding?
Yeah.
Road race.
Oh shit!
Oh, probably.
How warm?
There are stipulations here.
Yeah.
I would probably wear the fur.
The fur?
Does the
Yeah.
fur have a zipper?
Sure. I'll
it
give you a
full-
zipper. I'll
full
give you a
zip?
zipper on both.
Full zip. I'm fur.
So you're
Full
going to
zip fur.
unzip the plastic until they see the fur.
Yeah. Right.
No.
I don't have much fur.
So that was gross.
Anyway,
But
full
I would
zip fur.
I would go fur too. Yeah, I'd go fur. Yeah, because the plastic you can't sweat through. Would you rather take a year off the bike or lose a year off your life?
Christ, I'd rather take a year off the bike. It's not worth it.
At the end of your life, though, it doesn't matter. It's at the end.
So how?
It's like I'm going to die at
how miserable
91 or
are you?
90.
Yeah.
I'd rather die at 91.
Okay.
Depends on my abilities at 91 though. But
So you none of us are burnt out rather than fade away.
I would take a year off my bike, which I've proven would give me
doesn't hurt.
everlasting life. The amount of
So
Be alive forever.
every
it
year
does
adds
add
one
on.
to
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah, okay. I would. I don't know. The end of the life just doesn't sound great. So anyway, I'd take a year off.
bullet to the head.
I'd take a year off the life. Oh my god. No, and I don't know about that. Would you rather win a Grand Tour or 3 classics?
3 classics.
3 classics. Jack. Garrett Thomas is listening.
Yeah, he is. I guess I would want to win 3 classics too.
I would too. I would too. Would you rather? How am I doing on time? I'm doing good. Would you rather ride a super light bike that looks like shit or a beautiful one that weighs a ton? And when I say a ton, I mean like
20 pounds.
20 pounds.
I'd probably ride a light bike that looks like hell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Don't
sure what hell.
don't go in
I'm
details
not
on
sure.
me.
But yeah, the light bike that.
I remember.
No, I'm changing it.
Do you remember James Franzen?
Oh yeah.
Matt Franzen.
And Matt.
James
Matt and
Franzen.
James,
James Franzen had. I was telling the guys at the video shoot for that's upcoming, and I got to plug it here, but I don't have the details. But that Jackson did this YouTube video this weekend, and they had a Schwinn Varsity.
Nice, yeah.
And I remember that James Franzen, this guy who's a teammate of ours, had his full bike, but it was painted to look like a gold flake Schwinn Varsity.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was just hilariously cool. It looked like a piece of shit Varsity. All our bikes were sitting outside of a grocery store while we all went in. All of our bikes, everything from I rode a Choach back then, beautiful red Choach. All these bikes, they stole Matt Franzen's bike because it was familiar to them.
Yeah,
and it was and I remember telling them that story, and it's just like the ugly bikes are almost cool looking.
Right. Yeah.
But I would, and this has also got me thinking about the fact that my wife and I have been watching these races at night. And she goes, and we've been talking about the fact that so many bikes in the peloton right now are matte black.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this, Jackson.
I mentioned that. Like
Yeah.
a Ken doll. You know, you feel like they're all the same.
Fucking come on. Throw splash of color. You and I are sitting next to each other riding, and I'm on an orange bike, and you're on a blue bike, and I love it.
Yeah.
Come on, bike manufacturers. Get
I like
your
the
fucking
color.
shit together.
I know, matte
Yeah.
black with shiny black stickers.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just
like
dumb. I'm
yeah.
tired
Dumb.
of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, would you rather have your all lights turn green when you approach, or be able to climb better than anybody in your group that you ride with?
All lights.
Every
turn
time you
green.
come
Every
up to a
time you green.
stoplight, you
Oh,
never have
climb
to
better.
clip out.
Climb better.
Yeah, I'd climb better too.
I think I would too. Would you rather live full time on a sailboat or an RV?
Ooh.
I think
100% RV.
yeah, I think RV too.
Really?
The ocean kind of freaks me out sometimes.
I think. Yeah. I mean,
Even if it was, one of those house dock boat,
now you're
kinda,
changing it.
Dock, yeah.
But no, I'm
Yeah,
an RV guy.
I'd be RV too.
Yeah.
I'd be RV too. We're all those fifth wheeler guys at the campground, sitting there with a big
Well,
belly.
I think the difference between a sailboat is that like you have to go you have to like be able to navigate waters, but with like on the RV you can just like type it in on your GPS and go.
Yeah, just go slow and pull over
Yeah.
every once in a while. And let everybody.
Yeah.
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 And Jack in your Sprinter van.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you rather have unlimited international first class tickets or never have to pay for food at restaurants?
No, food for sure. I spend way more money on food than I would.
Yeah.
I would pay to travel and eat all the food I want.
You pay to travel and eat for free.
See, that's actually a really interesting point
Probably
because
make money eating for free. I mean, you probably save a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a really interesting point because as much as you eat on a trip, does that equal the cost of how much travel costs?
Yeah, don't think about that. That's true.
So I would probably eat because I eat a lot more than I
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah.
I'd take the travel tickets.
Yeah.
I'm reaching that point in my life where I'm like, fuck work. I just want to. I mean, if I had unlimited flights, I'd do that.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah. Would you rather be the teammate for the winner of a classic or for the winner of a tour? Teammate. Supporting a rider to win a classic or supporting a rider to win a Grand Tour?
Tour.
Grand Tour.
I think tour as well.
I probably would too because that's a lot bigger commitment.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to diminish a classic, but
Right.
3 weeks.
Well,
Yeah.
3 weeks of support, you get a portion of the pay.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So that's lucrative.
Oh yeah, you're
you're
thinking about it on selfish reasons. I see that.
Yeah.
I see it.
Well, and also if you are like a key teammate to the winner, there's also a possibility that in the future you
You're
could
the
be a Grand
leader.
Tour winner.
Yeah.
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 Okay, 2 more. Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn?
But I would probably go back to 5.
Age 5 with what you know now?
Yeah. Because first of all,
Redo.
I was about to say, like, the kids I teach now, they wouldn't believe the stuff that I've done.
This kid in the corner knows his shit.
Yeah.
He said shit.
I'd rule the world if I was 5 years old right now.
Yeah.
Jack,
I'd have to say the same.
I think I would too. I think I would too.
It'd be fun.
Because I don't think I'm going to learn much more between now and the end of
Just think
the
how
game.
you could rock it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
It's
you'd be like driving at 5.
Yeah.
I'm not
know.
good at math, but I'm better
Yeah.
Yeah.
than everybody else at age
Yeah.
5.
Like a kid tries to like bully you, it's like, oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
guess
Well,
what?
I've been watching MMA for about about 10 years. I got you.
I can do a tactical takedown in 0.5 seconds here, man.
All right. Last one. Would you ride only a penny farthing or a unicycle? If you had to pick, if you were only allowed to ride one, the penny farthing for Jackson,
Yeah.
if you don't know, it's that.
I know what it is,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Or a penny farthing or unicycle for the remainder of your days, which would you pick? Now, I do want to say that unicycles
I've come a
are
long
pretty
way.
impressive.
Oh.
You can ride them off road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penny farthings, not
Maybe.
so much. Not so much. Did you guys see that GCN?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Fucking great video. Yeah.
I'd probably do the unicycle. I think it's more versatile than.
Am I
Okay.
good at the unicycle?
No, I'm handing you both right now. You have to pick one, and you have to learn one.
Yeah.
And
They're probably
that's-
equally painful to learn.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I guess the unicycle.
See, I'd penny farthing
Yeah.
just because
Familiar grounds.
I was gonna say it garners more attention,
Yeah.
which is funny
I don't
because
know
I'm
if
not
it
really
does.
into
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are like, ooh, look at that. But you could, and after watching that video where you pick different wheel sizes instead of gears, obviously the wheel
Yeah.
size
Yeah,
depends
is
upon
part of
is your
yeah.
gear concept. It's fascinating to me. I would do that. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a really grand end of our would you rather, but interesting.
Yeah.
So there we go. And that brings us, believe it or not, to the end of a Packfiller podcast.
Oh.
Hey, everybody. So Amstel Gold is this weekend. Next week, and we're going to be talking about, a little race called the Paris-Roubaix, which is kind of a big dog, and the old stable. What the fuck I'm trying. I lost myself in that reference about right when I started it.
It's the beer.
It might be, and Jack
Clarity.
has
I
the
have full
clarity
clarity.
of
Yeah.
and Jackson only had one. So there we go,
I've
everybody.
never been the most sober in the room, by the way.
How does it feel?
Great.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not boring. It's not like I gotta drive everybody.
Isn't that boring? Yeah, I'm fucking bored right now.
Well, usually you find yourself when
Yeah.
I've been in a room with drunk people. It's just like, God, these fucking people are idiots.
Yeah, you're not.
And I'm
wrong
sure
with that.
most people listening to that podcast
So you guys are a bunch of fucking
think the
idiots.
same thing. So like, subscribe, and do us a favor. I have to plug this one at the end of every show. Sign up for the 24 Hours of Riverside. It's a great bike race. It's coming up very soon. 24hoursofriverside.com is the website to check that one out. Other than that, Paul, get well, because we expect you to make us feel like
do
shit.
you need volunteers for the race? For the 24 hours?
Absolutely. Well, you know what I'm looking
How
for?
do they get a hold of you for volunteering?
24hoursofriverside.com. You know what we're looking for right now?
What?
Is a group to help us with the pancake feed in the morning.
Wow.
And it would be a fundraiser for that group. We would pay that group to make pancakes
That's a great
for
idea.
a bunch of bike racers.
What about
on Sunday morning, probably about 7 o'clock in the morning.
G Prep Cross Country? Have you thought of asking them?
Don't tell anybody where to work, Jack.
No, I never. I
just
you
did.
just did.
No, I didn't.